There is a perplexing narrative at the tail end of parshat Emor. Vayetze ben isha Yisraelit, v'hu ben ish Mitzri betoch b'nei Yisrael. This young man whose mother is Jewish, father is Egyptian, goes out, and what does he do? Vayikov ben ha'isha ha'Yisraelit et Hashem vayikalel. He curses God's name in the public square, quite flagrantly. Vayaviu oto el Moshe v'shem imo Shlomit bat Divri l'mateh dan. So he is summoned to Moshe, and then we learn that his mother's name was Shlomit bat Divri. Two questions on this perplexing narrative. The first is on that opening verb vayetze. Where was this man going? Where was he coming from? We seem to be in the middle of a story. We don't know any of the background. And the second question is about the name of his mother. When we're first introduced to her, we're introduced to her generically, almost anonymously. And then at the tail end of the story, we encounter her as Shlomit bat Divri. We learn her name. Why wait till the end? The Chizkuni offers an incredible insight into this narrative. He says that we have to understand the nature of this young man and what brought him to this place of cursing God publicly. We know that he came from the Shevet of Dan. And the Chizkuni cites a Gemara in Psachim which says that the people from Shevet Dan were litigious people. They were people who were judges, were people who went to court often, because they saw the world through the lens of din, as the name Dan connotes. And they would say to people, Dino, Donu Dino, come and let's go to judge in a court on the matter that we are talking about. So the kind of culture that this young man was raised in was the kind of culture in which he had role models who would get into a conflict, a quarrel, and they would escalate things very easily by saying, I'll have my lawyer contact your lawyer. I'll see you in court. I want that written and signed. We know those kinds of people who bring sometimes even small matters and escalate them way too quickly and want things settled in a court of law as if that's the ultimate barometer of truth and justification of someone being right and the other party being wrong. This stands in stark contrast to this young man's mother. Her name was Shlomit bat Divri. Typically, we understand her name to be reflective of the bad parenting that she did, which would explain why her son was such a rebel and received the death penalty for his horrible behavior. And so most Mefarshim see her as somebody who was a dabranit, someone who was flirtatious, which might have led to her being with an Egyptian in the first place, and she was all over the map and was not there to support her son and to be the mother that she needed to be, which is why her son did what he did. However, there is a different way of understanding her name as coming from shalom, coming from peace, that she actually used dibor, used the power of speech to try and supplement, complement, or counterbalance the culture of Shevet Dan. That instead of using words to bring justice and right and wrong, she tried to use words to bring people to a place of shalom, to a place of connection, of togetherness, of compromise, of wholeness. And that's the way that she tried to raise her son, but she failed, which explains why the first two times she is mentioned in the story, she is mentioned anonymously, because her essence, her name, did not carry through to her son. He did not follow her lead. But her name is mentioned at the end of the story because she is doing something that is true to her nature. She is bringing her son to Moshe. because she believes in rehabilitation. She believes that maybe words can be used to help heal her son from the harmful words that he just uttered out of his mouth. And that is not possible because her son has crossed a line, a red line. But at least we see her being true to herself, being somebody that has somebody that uses words positively and productively, not as somebody who uses words to threaten and to distance and to escalate situations that are difficult. So we should try and take the lead of this Shlomit bat Divri. We should try and take the message from the parsha that we ought to use our words softly to try and heal and not to hurt. See you in Shul.